Hello guys, my name is Anna and I'm from Ukraine. In my daily vlogs, I update you on the situation in my country, Ukraine, during this awful war with Russia, until we win and maybe after we win. And today I'm wearing a hoodie with our famous Ukrainian poetess Lesia Ukrainka. By the way, the university I work in is also named after her. And I want to tell you a little bit about Zelensky's visit to Kherson and Putin's absence on G20 and anyway, Putin's total absence in global politics and life. Today, President Zelensky visited Kherson and I think it was both very important for him. I'm pretty sure he received lots of positive emotions from the people who gathered on the streets. And also it was important for the people of Kherson who returned back to Ukraine after 8 months of awful orc occupation. There are lots of heartwarming videos that you might have come across on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitter or elsewhere, but one of the most touching that I remember is of a lady who was hiding the Ukrainian flag in a huge bottle, buried somewhere in her orchard, and when she got it back and put it on her house after Kherson was liberated. And it demonstrates how important national symbols like flag, like anthem can be, especially during such difficult times. From one point of view, it's not so difficult to destroy a piece of material, but when it is your flag, it is a totally different meaning and it is extremely important to save them. I know there are a lot of such flags that had 100 years history and they were hidden during Soviet occupation, and something similar happened in Kherson during this Russian occupation. You see how they react to flags, how Ukrainian flags irritate Russians and provoke them, and still we keep them, and now all the world to some extent is blue and yellow. And I'm very grateful for the photos that you send me demonstrating the support of Ukraine in your cities, in towns. I already have a collection of them and the stories that come together with these photos. I'm really grateful for that, and I'm grateful for those flags, that Ukrainian flags that are hanging in your houses, in your towns, in your countries. This means a lot. Now, flag is always important, but during wartime it becomes a sacred symbol. So a video of these flags that appear on the streets of Kherson, and President Zelensky, who is brave enough to fight, who is brave enough to visit front lines, and who is brave enough to visit Kherson, is the totally opposite character to President Putin, who is hiding somewhere in bunker behind the Urals. No one can see him. He never visits the territories that they even temporarily occupy. And I don't know how come some Russians still respect him, because all what he demonstrates is a total example of cowardice. Also, I know that traditionally Putin has a press conference, annual press conference, something similar to a state of I don't know, like American presidents have that when they annually speak to the nation. And Putin had something like that, and they don't plan anything for this year, and it is for the first time in 10 years. Perhaps there are lots of questions that he doesn't want to answer, not even from international journalists, but also from Russian, because his story, the story of this war, totally born and initiated by Putin, is a story of his personal and also Russian failure. So he will be responsible for decades of Russia's isolation and poor economic, poor cultural and psychological condition. But it was not Ukraine who provoked or who wanted this war, and now they have to pay high price for that. And also today Peskov reacted in a very negative way, speaking on behalf of the Kremlin. He said that he is very angry and disappointed that President Zelensky visits Russian territories, because they still consider Kherson a Russian territory, even though they escaped and left the city. And it all looks very, very like poor when they pretend like nothing happened. It's very Russian, and I think this is one of the symptoms that prevents normal therapy for Russian society. They never notice their own problems and their own failures. They start imitating and then believe in their own imitation. So the second army of the world escaped Kherson, and now Peskov is angry that the president of Ukraine visited the Ukrainian city that is now liberated by the Ukrainian armed forces. And also another thing that demonstrates that Putin is a coward, he decided not to come to G20 that starts tomorrow on Bali. And even his representative, Minister of Foreign Affairs Lavrov, disappeared somewhere on the island, and lots of Indonesian media say that he was hospitalized. I definitely think that Lavrov is ill. He is ill for a very long period of time, kinda when he joined Putin's team. So finally he was hospitalized on Bali, but Russian media deny that. So maybe they sometimes deny even when people die. They continue pretending that everything goes right. So, cancelled press conference. Perhaps the next press conference of Putin will be somewhere in Hague. I think that is a nice idea. And Lavrov that escaped or somewhere lost on Bali, and President Zelensky with his team, ministers and other representatives that are now kissing and hugging people in Kherson. Kherson is still a dangerous spot. It is mined, it can be shelled, but nothing can stop Ukrainian people from getting stronger, uniting and returning back our territories. So these are the news that I wanted to share with you today, but perhaps we will have a special edition in the evening about the raccoon that was stolen from Kherson Zoo. Thank you for watching, for buying me coffees and becoming my patrons. I really value that a lot. Thank you for your support of my country, Ukraine. Let me know what are the topics you would like to hear in my future vlogs. Slava Ukraini!